So what exactly is a group? Hi, I'm Louise Fisher. Welcome to our YouTube channel. So we have 100 subscribers. Thank you to each one of you that has subscribed, and we trust that you are finding value in what we have to offer. Here we discuss tips, tools, and techniques for you to become an effective group facilitator. So if group therapy or groups is a passion of yours, then we have lots to share with you. So what exactly is a group? And it would be strange that we actually come to, I'm not even sure how manyth episode, and then there's a question of what exactly is a group. I think we often take it so for granted that we know what a group is. And it was only in our February Q&A that I had to stop, and when confronted with this question, and take a step back and say, okay, yes, maybe this was a good place for us all to just refresh our memories and to really get on the same page about what a group is. So you can have a lot of people together, and that doesn't necessarily constitute a group. You can go to the supermarket. Everybody's buying different aisles, different things, somebody with a child, somebody with a parent, on their own, or it's a family. And it's a lot of people together in the same place. But does that mean that they're a group? No, they're not. And so for us to take a step back and say, okay, so at what stage can we say that when we are facilitating groups? Because we often say everybody in the same room doing the same thing is not a group. So it's interesting. I went to go and have a look at the book called Group Dynamics by Forsyth, and went to go and check up again about what makes a group. And he has defined it in a couple of characteristics. So how would we know that something, or criteria, if you want to call it like that? So how do we know that something would be a group? So the first point is there's interaction. So to take our example of people at the supermarket, you can just interact with the person that you're with. You don't have to interact with the lady at the deli if you're not going to buy anything. You don't have to interact with the person that's walking past you or standing in the queue. And so the interaction is lacking in all the people at the supermarket. Come to a private clinic or mental health setting, and you have a lot of people who are doing the same craft together. That also doesn't automatically mean that we have a group, because there's no interaction. Everybody is so focused on their own craft or their own whatever they're making, that there's no interaction. So how do we know it's a group? First of all, there needs to be interaction. Second of all, there needs to be some kind of structure. And that's what we're lacking at the supermarket. There's no structure. People are coming and going as they want. They come in and stay 5 minutes. They come in and stay an hour. They buy a couple of things. They buy lots. They complain. They don't. There's nothing that's a structure in that setup. Now, in our mental facility, health facility, where clients are all busy making a craft, there might be a bit more structure, even though they're lacking interaction, but there is structure in that process. They are making something, there's a room, everybody is enclosed in the same room. So that characteristic they have, but they don't have interaction. And so already we're starting to get a very good idea of when we talk about facilitating groups or group therapy, we need to create a place, a structure for our clients so that there can be interaction. The next characteristic is size. So very interesting in Forsyth's definition, he talks about a small group being 2 to 7 group members big. But we know that with Yalom and a lot of other literature on group therapy, the norm is really 8 to 10 if you want to have an effective group that you're going to be facilitating. We can sometimes stretch it from 6 to 12, but you're going to find that even those two people outliers from 8 to 6 and from 10 to 12, it's already going to start put a bit more pressure on your group than if you had the ideal amount of 8 to 10 group members. So in your group that you're facilitating, there's structure. It is in a specific room. There are chairs in a circle. it starts at a specific time and it ends at a specific time. And now you have 8 to 10 people within that group. So that would be what would be seen as a small group. All right, then the next one is there is a goal. There's a reason why people are here. Back to our supermarket, everybody's buying groceries. So the goal is the same, even though we don't have interaction and we don't have any structure. But there is an element of people come there and their goal is to buy groceries. Now, the people that are doing the crafts together, there's a goal for them as well. But similarly, when we come to groups, especially using the interactive group model, our goal becomes core. So what are we trying to achieve within this space of a group, but also within a program? What are we trying to achieve and what is the goal that we would have? So that becomes quite important. The other characteristic is there's cohesiveness. So back to our example of people at the shop, there's no cohesion necessarily. People don't feel connected. Maybe if they know somebody from another context, they might feel drawn to them and they might go and interact with them. But the majority of people there, there's no connection between people. They're walking in and out, they're talking or not talking, but there's no sense of connectedness. You might get a little bit more in the craft group, although a lot of them is more focused here. And so there's not necessarily a sense of connection. In the groups that we want to facilitate, connection and cohesion is core. We always joke about saying cohesion, 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 because without cohesion, we actually can't call it a group. There's something that binds and keeps the group together, and that cohesiveness needs to be in play for us to say this is really a group. The last one is also an interesting one. He names temporal changes. Now, basically, at the end of the day, it means the group is affecting change on each other. When you walk into the grocery store, you walk out, no change would necessarily have happened. The same with the craft situation. There might be something happening inside of me, but it's not because of you or something outside of the people that are all there. That's not what is affecting change. And maybe I don't even have that impact after the crafts activity. But when we talk about a group and we want to define a group, you are going to find that people impact each other and the whole group starts impacting each other. And now we can say with all these characteristics, we have a group. So we have interaction, we have structure, we have size, we have goals, we have cohesiveness, and we have change that is happening. There is a dynamic that's happening. So the dynamic can also be seen as the group process. The individual has an impact on the group has an impact on the individual. There are things happening, whether we're aware of them or not. There's an impact, a dynamic, a process that's going to happen. And by being in this group with all these characteristics, something is going to shift in each person that attends that group. So again, we can see how core it is to understand that in groups, it's not everybody in the room doing the same thing. You are not facilitating a true group if that's what you are doing. And so we have to strive for this dynamic to take place for us to talk about group therapy or group intervention. We want that process of something in me changes and I bring some change into the group for us to call it a true group, a group according to the interactive group model. So this was a great exercise and I thank Renske for bringing this question to our attention in our last Q&A. Maybe there's some food for thought in there for you to go and have a look. Do I meet these criteria in my own groups that I'm facilitating? In the meantime, happy facilitating.